Anybody else want ice cream now?
I always want ice cream.
That's like asking me if I want to take a nap.
The truck went down the street and now we all want ice cream. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Laughing Place Movie Club as we talk about the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, now streaming on Disney+. I come with props. I'm Tony, everybody. Right next to me, up above here is, I don't know how this works, is Benji. And then down here we have Alex, and we're here to talk about this animated film, The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Right off the bat, what did you think, Alex?
It was an animated film. So I will say Ice Age was never a favorite franchise of mine. I know it's been the key moneymaker for Blue Sky Animation Studios for most of their time. I think I had seen the first two prior to the release day, and then as background noise while I worked, I had the entire franchise minus the television specials that are on Disney Plus streaming. And so I kind of picked up bits and pieces. I thought it might be important to understand who Buck Wild is, who comes into play in the fourth of the five.
I believe that's what it was, yeah.
Prior to this one. But anyway, it didn't even matter. And I guess right away I was taken out of it because I was used to Queen Latifah's voice, and none of the original cast other than Simon Pegg could either be bothered to come back or would accept the probably piddly sum that Disney was willing to give them. Yeah, scale. So right away I was thrown off by the voice cast changes, some of which weren't matched all that greatly, if I'm being honest. And then the other weird thing to me was just the flow of it didn't feel like a feature. It felt like Act 1 was recap everything that came before. It was a big recap because they found a baby and returned it to humans. They found love in a hopeless place. They crashed into a world of dinosaurs. Like, we needed to explain all this stuff. They went to space. We had to explain it all to get to this
via
film,
cave drawing.
Via cave drawing, 2D animation, and then
spaceship Earth overlay coming soon.
Yep.
Beyond that, I found it just very confusing. I mean, the movie's called Buck Wild, but he doesn't really seem like the main character, but sometimes the movie thinks he is. And it just really seems to lose its way more often than it stays on a path that is easy to follow.
I'm glad you said all those points because those were almost all issues I had with it. Namely, the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, which is all about the Possum Brothers, Crash and Eddie. Like, the whole movie is about them wanting to get away from their sister, who's a mammoth. I definitely missed something because I've only seen the first Ice Age.
So she's introduced. I know all about this.
Okay.
She's introduced in the second Ice Age and was orphaned as a baby, so she doesn't really remember her like mammoth family, and the possum mama basically like adopted her, and so she grew up like kind of thinking she's a possum, and then I forget the name of her significant other, but when he finds her, she's like, I'm a possum. He's like, no, you're a mammoth. Like, look at our footprints. Like, they're the same. And she's like, no, I'm a possum. I don't know what you're talking about. So that was like part of her character arc was learning to accept the fact that she was not a possum. And then they had babies.
Weird mammoth possum hybrid babies.
We are live. If you have comments about the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, please feel free to leave them. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Benji, what did you think of the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild?
There are parts that I really enjoyed, but that was just because I was dreaming, because I fell asleep like several times throughout this process. It's not really engaging, and I think part of it is just like you expect it to be a Buck Wild film because it's called that, as Alex mentioned, and then it takes like a good what feels like maybe 3 hours, but it's probably more like 20 minutes to even get him on the screen. And so you're like, I don't even know what the point is. And like I haven't watched you go normally see a movie, you get a trailer, you have some idea of what you're about to get into, and it was weird to me that it was a spin-off considering how much the original cast was in it. Like I kind of figured they would just go like not the original cast, but like the original characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would go off on this other adventure, which is why it could be a little smaller scale and not have all the action, not kind of stink up the Ice Age franchise, if that's possible.
I kind of expected it to be like Planes from like a different region of the world of Ice Age.
Yeah. But they had to tie it in with the main family, I guess.
They did.
Although,
did
that's why I said I guess. In the press leading up to it, Simon Pegg said it's the age of the cinematic universe, and he was excited to have more adventures, and he kind of hinted that they might be going into more. I remember at the Investors Day when it was announced, I thought it was a series, and now it's just a standalone film.
Maybe they saw the daily or something like kind of like that, like some of those direct-to-video things, which were obviously 3 episodes of a TV show that became direct-to-video feature.
That would make sense.
This one, the animation studio, it's the same team that did the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie.
Really?
Yeah, and so I'm curious to know like what that contract looks like. I haven't seen any like announcements from like when they got the contract, but they do animation for lots of companies, and so they've got the Diary of a Wimpy Kid contract for Disney, and then they have this, and I believe your confusion might be, I think they announced this as a film, but I think they announced this as the start of like a new film series from the Ice Age world on Disney Plus, because I went into this thinking like this was meant to be more of these, and maybe it will, because this had to have been cheap to make, because we haven't talked about the animation quality yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure you have lots of comments. There were many moments where I was watching it and feeling like the animation dipped in. Some scenes looked not even rendered to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not fully rendered, like not final lighting. It looked like a work in process piece, but then like the next scene would look fine, like for this level.
Yep.
The animation's very choppy, and I'm not like, I didn't pay super close attention to all of Monsters at Work, but I feel like Monsters at Work had better animation.
The whole time I was thinking this is like a cheaper version of Monsters at Work, and Monsters at Work isn't all that great in my opinion either. To me, it was just very.
I mean, Monsters at Work, I think works, but
yes,
because it's 2003 computer animation level graphics, like just continuing the look of the original film. In fact, I think at times it looks better. Like there's technological things that they can do on it that they couldn't do back then.
So
like
if I go back to like looking at Monsters Inc. and Monsters University to a degree, I always think of how many advancements were made with fur. And then now if you look at fur, especially in Monsters at Work and Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, the fur is just like the skin, and it moves as it is. But there's not a lot of like, if you get a wind shot, you don't get the individual strands.
Can we talk about wind?
Okay.
Because there's none in this film. Did you notice that? It's really weird. Oh my gosh, go back and watch like a few of the
even when they're on the flying things.
The flying was terrible. Like the wing. It was like I had this like Nicktoons animation program CD-ROM thing as a kid, and I remember like you could make like a couple characters fly, and it was like they were zooming faster than like the wings would really like do anything. And like so the pterodactyls, like their wings go, but their neck isn't into it. Like the full range of motion's not there. There was a moment where a pterodactyl landed, I think with like Buck Wild or one of the possums on its back, and it just looked like a crash landing, but it wasn't played that way. It was just, you could tell like a beak would have gone like through the floor if they hadn't been less careful.
There were definitely times where I was watching it and it would do that cut, and I'm like, oh, someone got lazy. They didn't want to do the full shot. Let's just end it here.
Benji had that comment with the map, like the whole middle act where they're traveling down river, and it would be like we do something, and then the map shows we move, and then we do something, and then the map shows we move, and it was like over and over. Map shows we move, we do something. Map shows we move, we do something. Ugh. But yeah, early on there was a moment where one of the Possum brothers, I swear, like their right eye glitched. And like no one went to fix it. Like, it
could you tell them apart?
I can't even remember their names, Tony.
I just remember the names are Crash and Eddie, but I'm like, there's got to be a way to differentiate.
Is one of them have
a
red nose and buck teeth, and the other one has a black.
That's
nose
what
and
I was looking for, some sort of identifier, and there was.
Is one green, one red, one blue?
Did you see any way, Benji?
No.
I felt it was in their nose, like one was more bulbous and one was more angled, but I couldn't figure it out for my life. Even Sean William Scott and Josh Peck didn't come back to do them. It was completely different voice actors.
And what, like, Josh Peck will do anything.
He's
on How I Met Your Father. He's in Turner and Hooch.
The pay rate was scale. He's a nice guy, by the way. I got to interview him once.
Well, speaking of new actors coming into the Ice Age fray, we met some new characters, including this guy, Scale Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall.
Isn't that the guy? Isn't he Pleakley?
He's Pleakley, yeah.
Are you saying more Kids in the Hall instead of Lilo and Stitch?
Yep.
Cool choice.
Can we talk about his character design?
Sure, let's go back.
And how he was ultimately demised, because I really expected them to set up from the beginning that his brain is fragile since it's like fully exposed in the back.
Yeah.
He's basically Brain from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like without the case. And so I expected at some point, like one of the brothers is gonna like throw something. It's gonna like ricochet off a back wall, hit him in his brain. He's gonna be like, ooh, and all of a sudden be nice. Like it's gonna like damage the lobe that makes you mean.
Well, can you go back to him too?
Yep.
I also think he's the first like character in the Ice Age franchise, or maybe even in prehistory, to have a beer belly.
Is he offensive to short people with beer bellies and big heads?
Tony?
Is he a stereotype?
You be the judge. My whole thought process with him was just like, why? And
I love
his faux lighter. Like, spoilers. Sorry, but
no. If you're watching this and you care, you should have seen it. But yes, I love the whole like the way he happened upon it. Like he was about to just be murdered by these toothed velociraptors, and then he accidentally makes fire, and then finds out they worship fire.
Do they worship it, or are they just hypnotized by it?
Either or.
Like
anyway, the heroes figure out the secret. They don't end up throwing anything at his exposed brain to make him nice again. Instead, they just figure out how to get the raptors on their side and then shun him.
Well, yeah, I like how the whole story is we could be together, we could be united. We're going to outcast this guy too immediately.
Yep.
I have a question. So I was going through the trending, and Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild's number 3 on the Disney Plus trending list, between Encanto and Bluey. There's an Ice Age film called Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
I think that's where Buck Wild came in to play.
I think he actually came in the 4th one. I think Dawn of the Dinosaurs is number 3, and I think the pirate one.
I'm looking this up because I have a whole thing like a back. They gave me so much backstory on the character who's in it for half the film.
I feel like Buck Wild didn't come into play until the pirate one.
The 4th one that's the 5th one, Continental Drift. Dawn of the Dinosaurs is the 4th one. The Meltdown is the 3rd one.
Oh, okay. Then I'm mixed up. Okay.
So
then never mind. Yes. Then the Meltdown should be the one he made his appearance in.
Wouldn't the dinosaurs have come before didn't they come before Mammoths?
Oh, it's a whole thing. They found like an underground, not really underground, but like an area in a crater that was somehow not impacted by the meteor. So that's why they keep calling it the Lost World. It's like this land on Earth in this ice age where dinosaurs still exist.
And I like how the Ice Age franchise managers, presuming there's a bunch, like then saw Moonraker and were like, "Oh no, we should put them in space." That makes sense.
Do you think there's like a Pablo Hidalgo equivalent for this franchise? Is there like a head of story for the Ice Age franchise who's there going like, "Oh no, you can't do that because in this film this happened," or
The
that's
way
not
they made
canon.
it sound like there is, but yes.
The
Is
Easter
it-
egg
'cause-
special isn't canon.
Is the Ice Age the Great Egg Escape like main canon, or is that like
It's not canon because it predates Jesus.
was Scrat in this?
Scrat was not
No.
in this at all. That was the whole time I was just like, where is he? Because that's synonymous with
Well,
the
because
Ice Age.
it's not an
franchise.
Ice Age film.
You have Ice Age. Let's go
I
back
know.
to the logo here.
I honestly
Okay.
think
Tell me again.
I honestly think they should have just dropped the whole "the" concept and just called
Yep.
this one like Ice Age : and treated it like a sixth film.
I
Do
remember looking
you
it
want
up
to share
in
the story
Scrat.
about how we knew that this movie would be a Disney film?
When before it
After the cruise?
came on streaming, or
After
we once had a Nostradamus of a bus driver from Disney Cruise Line who, taking us back to the airport from Port Canaveral, instead of playing the Disney Cruise Line like Return to the Airport DVD, offered up, "Hey, I've got Ice Age Collision Course. If you'd rather watch that, I can pop that in." And like enough kids were like, "Yeah, Ice Age." So we watched the first half of Ice Age Collision Course on our way back to the airport, like laughing all the way about how funny this was that they were playing a non-Disney film on your official Disney Cruise Line return to
Yep.
the airport, only to find out like 2 or 3 years later Disney was buying 20th Century Fox and resurrecting the Ice Age franchise, but shuttering Blue Sky Animation. None of that on my bingo card.
The quatrains of the Mears driver.
Hmm. He knew what did he know? When did he know it? And how did he know it? Collusion.
What did he know what Z's name was?
No. Oh, can we talk about her character design for
Yeah,
a minute?
absolutely.
And how her mouth like shouldn't be able to fit. It bothered me so much. She's like a whatever skunk Wile E. Coyote, but just the physics of it don't work for CG.
Did you remember?
Did I what?
Do you remember what kind of creature she was?
It starts with a Z.
Yes. I'm
That's-
looking it up. It's
It's extinct.
it's like a skunk gorilla. I don't remember what it was.
It's related to the skunk. She
Yep.
can spray, and she does. And if you are under 4, it's funny.
Oh
If
yeah.
you're not under 4,
I would go so
Nothing's
far as to
funny.
say under 10. I feel like the
Mm.
whole movie, and this is I've said this again and again. Adults, if they watch it, might fall asleep, Benji, or might take a few times to get through it. Myself
It's a
and
good-
Alex.
good time to work on your Wordle.
But if you are between 3 and 10, this will be on repeat. I'm sure of it. There are gas jokes, as it were. So much mocking. Like as soon as Buck and Orson meet and they have that whole name exchange, Buckminster and Schmorson, I was like, oh my god, I hear my nephew now. Like just the whole time, again and again. It's just gonna happen that. And then anything Crash and Eddie do with their little hip hop dances and everything, it was just, I'm like, this is gonna be parents' nightmare in a couple of months here.
Yeah, I've seen it once and I have nothing but pity for parents who have to sit through it multiple times.
My other thought the whole time too is Ice Age the Land Before Time?
Well, they
Are
don't
we gonna
sing.
have? They don't sing, but I feel like we're gonna have the Ice Age adventures of random character we've met before, number 19, in only a matter of time.
Pleakley finds love in a hopeless place. I haven't seen it.
It wasn't even him. It wasn't even Kevin McDonald, for the record. I
haven't
don't have his
seen-
name handy, but
I haven't seen. I mean, I've seen some Land Before Time sequels because I have a younger sibling. But the thing that stands out to me most about them was the commercials before each one for the puppet series Timmy the Tooth.
Okay.
Google Timmy the Tooth if you're curious. It was a puppet VHS series from Universal to encourage children to brush their darn teeth.
When you
To
said
be
Night Before
confused with
Time and
Tommy
puppets, I think
Tucker's
of
Tooth,
Pizza
right?
Hut.
I also have a fondness for those Pizza Hut puppets that still didn't fit my hand even though I was a baby.
What did you say, Benji?
Not to be confused with Tommy Tucker's Tooth, right?
Yeah. Walt Disney's one of his first professional films.
Any final thoughts on the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild?
I know they plan on making more of these, and
Yep.
since it's trending, I'm guessing there will be more, but I don't want it.
The press event with Simon Pegg, apparently he's been asking for a standalone Buck Wild film for well over a decade since his first appearance, he says.
And he's still waiting.
I was like, do we think he's satisfied with what came out?
Did he see the movie?
He seemed to have enjoyed it.
He is paid.
Yes, that was. And then so did Justine Machado, who's the voice of Z. Those two seem to have enjoyed it, but based on the fact that nobody else showed up, I don't know. John Leguizamo was busy, but we can't talk about why.
But he is still doing animation.
Let's ask this question. Who was the worst reprise of a character? I would go somewhere between Sid and Manny.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, having any of those guys in it for longer than like a segue scene into this new story felt weird.
But yeah, we had Manny's basically any man's Ray Romano impression.
Right.
Oh no,
Oh.
Deborah.
It quickly turns into Marvin the Martian.
Yeah. And then Sid's was just I don't even know what that was. But
Disney character voices was not consulted.
No.
But also wasn't covering this property anyway.
That reminds me, how jarring was it for you guys to see the castle banner show up in the front of an Ice Age film?
All the jarring. I feel like I said to Benji, because I feel like there's going to be confusion between things like Turning Red, which are, a Disney theater movie quality film, but opens with the same castle, and things like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, which are like, if direct to video was going on now, although neither of those films look better than the Tinkerbell films, which are over a decade old, and were direct to video, Disney computer animated films. So it's like that to me, like these films fall into that category of what Disney Toon Studios was producing.
Yep.
Not on the same quality level, and which is hard to say. Although they did have a few winners, and yeah, I wish there was a different intro we could put on these. Something like a Disney Plus original, like this occurred.
Yeah.
Almost like this was like the television unit, not the theatrical unit.
Yeah, it just feels weird that like I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say it will cheapen the brand because like I don't know, that seems a little too. There's some pretty bad.
I don't think it'll cheapen the brand because I don't think anybody will watch the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild and go, "What a great Disney film."
Christina Aguilera.
Okay. Elaborate.
Oh, because at her Disney Legends Award ceremony, she's also psychic, but Disney had purchased 20th Century Fox, or was about to, but as she accepts her Legends Award, she's going on and on about how her favorite Disney movie is The Sound of Music. And it was like, okay, you're not wrong in that Disney owns it.
But
yeah.
But she was not wrong unintentionally.
No.
Wildly off the tracks. I spent 20 years of my life saying Anastasia is not a Disney film, and then lo and behold.
Right.
So is Fern Gully.
Yeah.
Wait till they
all Don Bluth humans look the same, by the way.
Wait till they re-release it and put the castle on those.
They all look like the troll in Central Park.
I can tell you though, unlike Anastasia, no rotoscoping in this film.
Because they probably mocapped a lot.
Do you think?
Which is the same. No, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, oh, hey, we need to animate all these raptors. Hey, you guys go put some tennis balls on and run around on all fours, and then we'll just plug that in.
I'm just picturing Simon Pegg just sitting at home because, like every other movie in the last few years, it was made at home.
Mhm.
And I like how they keep pressing that like it's something new and unique. No. But Simon Pegg openly admitted to not wearing pants, and we weren't sure if he was during the press event.
He's just meta.
He's a
But,
method
his
actor.
character.
Yeah, for that reason, I don't think there's any mocap in it, but it would not surprise me. Plus, mocap's expensive.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been better with mocap. Like, it didn't quite live up to a mocap level experience.
I'm surprised it's not a video game yet. We'll see.
Disney doesn't have a video game group anymore.
Oh.
Warner Brothers Games makes all their licensed games now.
And the reissues of their old ones.
Yes.
And what's funny is it's run by a bunch of people that used to run a studio Disney owned, like Avalanche Studio, I think. It was like Warner Brothers bought them, and now they do all the Disney titles. It seems like a misstep might have been made.
I don't know why you just...
Good question from Ryan P. Will Laughing Place TV Club be back soon? I'm interested to know if you guys are going to be talking about the new episodes of Big City Greens that start in 10 days. I believe they start in a few days, but yeah.
Like 10 days.
I thought it was this weekend.
No, it's not this weekend.
But you cover Big City Greens.
I do cover Big City Greens, and I'm excited. It keeps bothering me. They keep saying season 3 premiere. I'm like, that already happened. That was the Halloween episode.
Do they consider that just a special?
It was announced as the season 3 premiere, so now it might just be considered a special.
February 12th.
I know NBC, just because I covered general TV, NBC did holiday specials of several shows, which were actually the first episodes filmed of the new seasons, but they are not considered part of the new seasons.
Did you guys watch the Big City Greens Halloween special / season premiere?
I did, actually.
Gloria confirms why she's my favorite character on that show in that special. Like, she has 2 lines, and one of them is, "This is what happened last year," as the same thing happens to her again.
I'm so glad that I'm looking forward to their Disney Plus content. Like, I feel like,
yeah, there's a new musical movie coming out, which I think will be fantastic. And then I think they said a couple more specials, and then a season 4. And we haven't even really got into season 3 yet, so I'm excited. Unrelated to any of this.
And then also, there's another Disney animated show coming back.
Amphibia should be back soon, and then the Owl House we're still waiting on. Grumble.
It hasn't been gone that long, but Ghost and Molly McGee is coming.
Yes, that show is a fantastic surprise. I had very low expectations for it, and it blew me away.
And it's got a catchy song.
Yes, and now that you said that, it's going to be stuck in my head all day.
McGee.
Not the best song in the series so far, though.
What's your favorite?
The Lincoln Rap.
And
Sorry, Lynn. Hire that guy for every movie from now on.
Yeah. Can we go a little off topic?
We already have.
So did you hear about what happened with the Oscars and we don't talk about Bruno?
How it wasn't submitted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can only submit 2 songs for the movie, right? And so typically they do like the I Want song or the Love song, right? Because fun songs don't win. Fun anything doesn't win Oscars.
Except Under the Sea.
I was going to say Under the Sea one. That was the first one.
But like that was when like 5 of the nominations were like, that's basically the Alan Menken rule. Like, you can't have all the nominees be through the thing. But so it's not going to be Oscar nominated, despite the fact it is like the number 1 song.
But
Like,
I
not
still
just Disney.
I still think Lin will get his O and his EGOT though, because he's got 3 in theory, because he's got one from Tick Tick Boom, I believe.
Mhm.
He's got one from Vivo, Vivo, the Netflix animated movie, and then Encanto.
Did you see Vivo?
I have not watched Vivo yet.
I feel like that movie must be really bad because considering it's like Lin-Manuel Miranda animation and has no like buzz.
Yeah. I feel like it did for a week, like when it first debuted. But that's how I feel with all the Netflix animated movies that I've heard of or seen. They all like hit, and then it's just quiet. And I feel the big one was Over the Moon. Like that one was just over the moon, over the moon, over the moon, and now nobody talks about Over the Moon.
Yeah.
And I think when Vivo hit, it was just Vivo, 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 boom, nothing.
Well, and I can tell you now that I do the what's new in TV and streaming, like Netflix puts out so much stuff. Like it's so hard to keep up with it, and it's so easy for everything to just get drowned. You know, sometimes lately I've been feeling like I wish Disney Plus would churn out more, not Buck Wild, but in comparison,
careful what you wish
to, like,
for.
In comparison, on the other end of the spectrum, Netflix puts out, in my opinion, too much, like overwhelming. And that's
I'm gonna research Ryan's question real quick, so if you guys can vamp.
Okay, well, Ryan also said, sorry if I got the stream off topic, but I'm excited to see you talk about the new episodes of Big City Greens.
We were already off topic.
Yeah.
So actually, we have we kind of rebranded it to TV Time, and that will be happening on February 8th. We don't have anything. We don't have a screener yet or anything to talk about Big City Greens. But if you're available, Ryan, come in and ask. Tell us what you want us to ask the creative team of Big City Greens, and we may have that chance. He wants to know if we
absolutely.
are what Glenn Keane did Over the Moon.
I was going to say, I'm absolutely
very well aware.
Yes. Yeah, I think you and me both, Tony, have covered various Glenn Keane presentations about Over the Moon.
Yes. And I think they were both identical, just on different platforms.
I think he gave the same presentation to Walt Disney Family Museum and then to Annecy.
Yep.
One of the coolest things, speaking of Glenn Keane, one of the coolest things I've ever seen him do was he did this thing with a VR headset.
Google.
I actually just watched that video about a week ago for the first time, and where he paints the characters that he did.
Yeah. In 3D. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend.
I saw a Lucasfilm for a Disney Family Museum event, and it was just like watching him do it, and it's like that his brain could figure out what to do is miraculous.
Yeah.
Ladybug Adventures of Cat Noir.
I didn't know until also really recently that Duet was a short of his was made as a VR piece, because I had only seen the theatrical.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was looking for it somewhere in the VR space, but I couldn't find it for my life.
It was, I think it was made by Motorola.
It was Google something in partnership with somebody.
Yeah, it's when Google bought Motorola, and so I think that kind of went away. Ryan, we're not necessarily going to talk to the cast of Big City Greens, but we do get a chance to talk to the creative team every once in a while. We're not going to be doing that live, but we'll be happy to take any questions you have and see if we can get them answered for you.
The Hootens, is it Hootens or Houtons?
I always say Houtons. I've been to their Comic-Con presentations, but I don't know.
Have you seen their animation episode?
No.
Where Gloria has the internship at the animation studio?
No, that sounds awesome.
Oh, it's so good. And I was like, this is the best caricature of the modern day process I've ever seen. And they like take it and launch it via like medieval catapult to Korea to have it animated on the cheap. And then they wait like a couple hours and it catapults back, finished and ready to air.
Did Disney acquire the Clerks animated series with the acquisition? Do you know that? Have you seen that show?
I've seen bits and chunks of it, but I've not seen all of it. No.
Because you just remind me of an episode where midway through the animation studio switches to Korea, and suddenly it's like all the eyes are big, everything's Kawaii style.
The Houghtons do, or Houghtons, or the brothers usually do
I
this
would
thing
think it's
at Comic-Con
Houghtons.
where they'll like take whatever is the other Disney television animation shows at the time and do like a reading, like a script reading. It's like an original thing, and it's like some major crossover of like. So it was like the cast of Star versus the Force of Evil, like crash land in big city and all this stuff, and so they all they have the cast there. You can probably seen some of that on YouTube because people film it, but it's pretty funny.
They Disney Channel also did something recently. I can't remember what. It might have been Comic-Con at Home. I think it was Comic-Con at Home actually, where it was the Owl House and Amphibia doing a table read where the universes match up, and I'm like, that's a cool idea, but the shows are so similar, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I started watching. I went to an Asifa event for Owl House, and so I was all into Owl House, and then like, I got busy. So
I like it, and there's a rumor that there's Owl House Funkos coming out sometime this year, and I'm all in on that one. So
so I have a question. Would you have been exposed to any of these shows if it wasn't for your job?
And for that, I'm thankful. Amphibia, it's okay. Owl House, I adore. Big City Greens, like, I'm not going to say appointment television, but has become, oh, it's on, leave it on. Owl House, I'm sucked into that whole storyline. And then the Ghost and Molly McGee, I love the style of it. I love the uniqueness of it. Yeah. So.
I can't tell you a behind the scenes story of Ghost and Molly McGee that's a little self-serving.
Okay.
So, we get to interview like the creative teams of these shows, usually like when they start or, have a season premiere or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always like, so many, when we do like regular TV, like Alex, like they think we just cover comedies or something because they don't never heard of us because, we're not busy. But we, I pop into the Zoom, right? Because that's what we're doing. And the first words out of Steve Loder was like, Laughing Place. I love that website. And I was like, oh, thanks.
That's it? Okay.
And I was like, so if the only people that read our site apparently work on Ghost and Molly McGee.
I'm okay with it. I have a hard time, though, I will say this. I love Ghost and Molly McGee, but I have a real hard time differentiating Scratch and Master Shake in my head. Because it is Dana Snyder from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which was huge when I was in college. So
Aqua Teen Hunger Force was like the litmus test of like when I knew I was not cool, because like I used to watch all that stuff on like it was just like they started calling it Adult Swim, but it was basically like Cartoon Network After Dark, right? They'd have like Space Ghost and the Brack Show and Harvey Birdman, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force started, and I was like, huh, this is meant for stoners.
Or drunks.
Right. And so I was like, okay. And then the fact it lasted like 47 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, that blows my mind. But yeah.
Because there's not a lot there.
Yeah, I watch it sometimes every now and then, and I just go, why? Why is this? Why was this on for so long? Why was this so popular?
139 episodes over 15 years.
I remember when they had the movie, right? And it was huge. We're like, we're going to air it the day it comes out on Cartoon Network. And it was just like hyped. And everybody thought, there's no way they're actually going to air this movie when like everybody's so excited to go see it. And they did, but it was a little picture-in-picture corner of Cartoon Network screen while other stuff aired. So like you wouldn't get the audio or anything, but they definitely aired it. They kept to their word, but it was just tiny in the corner of the screen.
The Adult Swim, I don't know if it's still this case, but they did a lot of like fun, just goof off. Like there was no executive oversight.
As a fan of retro cartoons, Harvey Birdman was my favorite.
Oh, I guess they're doing a spinoff of like Bird Girl.
I've heard that. I haven't looked further into it though. I'm too distracted by Big City Greens and the Ghost and Molly McGee.
Yeah.
Alex, you have thoughts?
I mean, I've seen, like with everything Disney, I try and watch at least one episode of everything, but I
Mhm.
will say I haven't really had time for any of these shows personally, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I will say, here's a pro tip on LP Movie Club. If we start talking about other things, that means we really didn't like the movie.
Mhm.
1,000%. I was just thinking the Raya episode I hosted, we went almost 2 hours. The Luca one I did, we did an hour 45. We're at 22 minutes in, we were talking about Big City Greens. And we're still Soul, I went for like the length of the movie.
Buck Wild, everybody.
Yep,
Speaking of length of the movie, did I ever tell you my Shrek story where I like waited longer than the movie Shrek to see Shrek 4D?
Why?
Because I
It
didn't
had
know
just
it was
opened, I hope.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll allow that.
when it was over, I was so angry because I was like, "Why are these chairs moving? This makes no sense." I was like, "What is happening?"
spritz you with water in your face.
Do we know what's going on?
Over.
They
What
have,
if you're-
at least in terms of Florida, they have put minions all over the construction walls, insinuating a minion attraction of some kind is coming.
Well, in Hollywood, it's been closed for a while. They put that DreamWorks.
They put the DreamWorks Theater in, which is supposed to cycle different properties, but it's been Kung Fu Panda since it opened. So
Has there been like I mean, there's not been another theatrically released DreamWorks movie, has there?
Trolls?
No, but Trolls, yeah, Trolls the World Tour.
Yeah.
Was last summer.
And that was as things were picking up, because I remember, wasn't there a big controversy between it going to streaming and in theaters also?
It did a simultaneous release. We didn't go see it, but we went to the drive-in movie theater and it was on the screen behind us.
I remember I said I like the concept of that. My girlfriend goes, that's the Avengers Infinity War. Then you would like that. If you think that's a good story, then you need to watch Avengers Infinity War.
And then you did?
No. 3 Marvel movies I've seen. 3.
You just wanted to see Boy Glitter fart again.
I haven't even seen the first Trolls. I haven't even seen Trolls World Tour.
Which Marvel movies have you seen?
Collectively, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, and I say collectively because it was on in the background in the break room for about a week. So I had seen it all piece by piece, just not start to finish. I have seen Spider-Man Homecoming, the first one, and I have seen Ant-Man.
Wow.
You're welcome, everybody.
I'm catching up to do.
I know 101 versions of everything that happened, so I know, I can keep up, but
I like how there was a whole pandemic where you had nothing else to do, and you still couldn't get through the MCU.
I watched 60 animated films and 22 Pixar films.
When The Lion King came out, were you confused?
The first Lion King?
Yeah.
Like the original?
Mm-hmm.
Was I confused?
Yeah, because the commercials kept saying the 30-second animated feature.
Yeah, yes. Did somebody tell you the story, or did
no?
Okay,
that's been like an ongoing joke with Doobie and I for 20 years.
Oh yeah, I literally told. I think it was Mike C on a live stream. I remember. I will always remember that Lion King's the 30-second one because in the trailers I thought it was 30 seconds, and I honestly was like, well, this movie preview is 2.5 minutes. How is this whole movie 30 seconds?
I just remember thinking it was so great when Dinosaur adopted the Lion King's marketing campaign and being so excited for Dinosaur.
Yep. And then
I saw Dinosaur.
I really wanted to like Dinosaur. I really thought that would have changed everything.
I love the visuals of it, but
the visuals are amazing.
You can put everything in a shiny package, but if you open that box and there's not much in it.
It's the story of my life.
All right, I think we've talked about everything except the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild tonight.
So, just to give everyone a heads up on when they can see more stupidity, tomorrow, well, this won't be stupid. Rebecca, Jeremiah, and Mike, your hosts, will be hosting Who's the Boss Live at 4:00, discussing the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. And then we will be back, as aforementioned, on Tuesday with TV Talk at 2 and Parks Talk at 4. And on Saturday, we won't be streaming, but we have full coverage of Universal Orlando's Mardi Gras. So you can watch Jeremiah earn some beads.
Stay tuned for that. Also remember to like, subscribe, ring that bell, get all the notifications when we go live with more gibberish like Laughing Place Movie Club looks at the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Or
congratulations on graduating college, Ryan. You can always work here.
Ryan should do the college program.
Yeah. I did it.
In the door and just behave.
Ryan's a good guy. Ryan would behave.
Okay. Don't call him.
What do you say? I follow Ryan and I follow each other on Twitter. We're both big fans of Mr. Leonard Maltin. And I routinely, he's in my newsfeed and I put a heart on his post. So
forget Disney World, work for a Laughing Place. Anyway.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, you could get exposed to new cultures like Tony did with Big City Greens and
yeah. So let's go back to Big City Greens for a second. Do you either of you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Alex, it's so hard for me. Also, like we have Master Shake is on Ghost and Molly McGee. Artemis from It's Always Sunny. Yes, it's grandma on Big City Greens, and it like every now and then I hear Artemis in there, and I'm just come on. So
and she's been popping up in quite a few things recently, which always brings me joy.
I always hear is great. Go back to the dumpster behind the Wendy's. That's all I hear.
When anybody mentions Coyote Ugly, what I think of is her monologue more than anything. And she directed Lethal Weapon 8. Which one are they on?
I think it's 5.
5.
Ryan asks, have you seen every episode of Big City Greens? I have, but I'm more well versed in the second season than the first season. Yes, I went back to a full rewatch.
I always enjoy it when Benji's got it on because I'm usually doing something else, but Tilly's voice just cracks me up.
I love in the first episode, there's a moment when they're trying to shoot a chicken into space. And Tilly just goes, "Tell the chicken you believe in her." And he leans in and whispers, "I believe in you." And then she goes, "When the chicken's done, can I get a turn?" "No, Tilly, it's not safe." And then she just has her soda. "I'm still going to take a turn." And it's just so good. So good. Like, if that's what the kids are watching, I have hope for the future
generation, despite all the craziness going on.
Yep.
Yeah. My generation watched South Park without any parental guidance. So
25th season starts this week or next week.
If that's the case, how come your generation's so sensitive?
I don't know.
That's a good point.
Everything was made fun of on South Park. Nothing was sacred.
I like. We're way off topic now. If you go back and I can't watch the earlier seasons, and I remember watching something with oh my gosh, Matt Stone, not the other one. But Matt Stone, he goes, Trey Parker, he goes, he's like, I can't watch anything like from the first 5 seasons. It's just so archaic to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, yes, okay, great.
Back when it was hand-cut construction paper.
Those are like the first few episodes, but yeah, they went to Maya real quick. But it's also just let's push the line just for the sake of the pushing of the line. Whereas now there's like actual like social commentary and
although have you seen the one where they like did a special edition? I forget which season it was, but they did a special edition of like the one with the UFO from season 1.
The first episode.
As like a joke
the 100th
to Star
episode.
Wars. Yeah, as like a joke to Star Wars. And so it's like the spaceship comes down and it's like this big CG monstrosity.
Yep. And then they cut to it and they're talking about, if I remember that one right, it's either that one or the Raiders of the Lost Ark one. But they cut in and it's interviewing Trey Parker and Matt Stone. And they're like, we always meant to have CG dewbacks in the background. And then later on, you see CG dewbacks in the background of the shots.
Yes. So good.
Yeah.
Great time.
Anyway, The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, now streaming on Disney+. If you have kids, your kids will love it. We think.
Not kid tested or approved.
No, not by anyone around here. Just a lot of hip hop dance moves and everything.
Bebop. Yeah.
Remember, guys, like, subscribe, ring those bells, get notified whenever we go live with more gibberish content like this, or at the parks, or Marvel Time, or Star Wars headlines, or Barely Necessities, which is our merchandise show.
And
So long,
our
everybody.
next movie club will be February 10th at 6 o'clock. It's going to be the Tuck Rule, 30 for 30.
What is? Oh, okay.
I was like, is that a new Bugs Life spin-off movie like The Adventures of Buck Wild?
I was like, Tuck is everlasting. Oh my god, could you imagine? Please, like that was so close to actually happening, though. Those kind of direct-to-video things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I would love to see a Tuck and Roll everlasting.
one of my I love the Funkos, right? But one of my favorite ones is the aliens dressed as Tuck and Roll, and I still wish they kept A Bug's Land and used the Stuntronic for Tuck and Roll instead of Spider-Man. But that's just me.
That's literally just you.
Yes. Yes.
The Thomas Newman or John Newman music starts playing, and all of a sudden you hear like Lilo Dali Gurtevich, and then they just blast off.
I was thinking more
over
like
the video.
you fired, and you just
You
see them like
fired.
go over. Yeah.
My favorite part of A Bug's Life for them is when they like have the antenna
Hopper's
off
antenna.
of one of the
yeah.
grasshoppers, and they're like puppeteering with it
Ah, da, 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 ah.
and just speaking their gibberish. I love it.
Yep. So good. Also, that's Professor Keenbean from Richie Rich. Tuck and Roll. Moving on.
Oh, the Macaulay Culkin Ricky Rich,
Yep.
or the boy from Seventh Heaven straight to video Richie Rich.
The Macaulay Culkin. I have my own roller coaster, but it's Vortex at Kings Island or whatever park it was. Richie Rich.
Yes.
I
have my own roller coaster, but
future Disney legend Brenda Song.
For the ultimate
Voice-
Christmas present.
Also, going back to Amphibia. Yes.
Brenda's song of
Boom
ultimate
Choi.
Christmas present fame.
Yes. Wendy Wu,
I-
Homecoming Warrior.
I remember somebody was talking about that show, and they said London Tipton when she was on that show, Sweet Life, and I
You
was
get the
like,
joke?
I did, but I didn't because I didn't pay attention to that show, and then somebody brought it up. And I goes, "Oh, is that supposed to be like Paris Hilton?" They said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay," but that was another one. Not my record holder. My record holder is Dill Pickles. It took over 12 years to get that one.
Wow.
Because I was like, why did all their names rhyme? There's Phil and Lil, but they weren't. That wasn't a Pickles. It was Dill Pickles, and then afterward, I was like Stu Pickles. Oh my god, I'm dumb.
Yep. And Lil, his baby brother Lil Pickles.
Okay,
Can't believe you never got that.
I got it. It just took 12 years.
I'm pretty
So long,
sure
everybody. Yes.
as a 7-year-old or however old I was when Rugrats premiered, I got it.